Good morning. It is Thursday, the 18th of June, and I'm out walking my dog in my high vis and talking about education. It's Simon here from onshaw.net. And today we're moving away from the unconvention for a little bit of a break, and just a bit of a preview of a upcoming podcast, maybe next month, where I speak to Grace Brennan, who is from Higgle. She is currently offering her summer courses, so please do have a look there. But I was talking to her about my favourite subject to teach, which is visual arts. I wonder what your favourite subject is to teach. Mine was, I loved teaching visual arts, but I didn't always start by loving teaching to visual arts. And visual arts to me was a kind of a strange subject. Even when I was in school, I always loved the idea of doing visual arts, and I remember choosing it. I remember in secondary school I could either do art or science up until my junior cert, because I was in a small school, and that was how it was. You had to choose art or science, and I know there was a lot of pressure for me to do science rather than art. Even though I really, really wanted to do art, I did a degree in science, so I think you can gather which one I did. But even after my junior cert, despite not doing art for my junior cert, I chose it as an 8th subject for my leaving cert. And I remember starting it, and in the first week, I had my first art history lesson. And I realised, maybe this isn't for me, and I gave it up. But I've always loved the idea of it. When I became a teacher, I remember doing a course with Michael O'Reilly. Some of you may remember him. He may have lectured you in Hibernia College. You may have done one of his courses yourself. You may even know the website I Am an Artist. But Michael O'Reilly was an incredible inspiration to me as an art teacher. I probably wasn't the greatest art student as much as I loved doing it, but he was a fantastic art teacher. He taught me how to teach visual arts properly, and I loved it. I loved the idea of the process rather than the product. And I know sometimes my pupils were a little bit confused by my art lessons, because you didn't necessarily make anything or have a completed product at the end. The example I gave in the podcast that you'll be hearing is that we were mixing. I spent a lot of the September mixing colours and getting children to invent colours, and you had loads of newsprint with splodges of paint and all sorts of interesting different shapes and colours and all sorts of things. And I did that with every class I did. But and then when with clay, actually putting when they did something with the clay, having to put it all back into the bag, and disappointed that all those sorts of things about the process. I loved all that, and I loved the creativity that, obviously more so than anything else, I loved the creativity that it forced children into. It was just a subject that there was no right answer, and you could do anything, and it was I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I am very lucky because I get to meet really interesting people on my podcast, and Grace Brennan from Higgle was one of those, and we had a great chat yesterday for the podcast about creative thinking and about how visual arts is a really great subject for that creative thinking, and possibly the risk that I've noticed about the lack of creativity that can happen in visual arts. And I think I was thinking about this and when it happens, and I think, people give out about the internet, and I'm going to join them in giving out about the internet a little bit. When Pinterest came along, or some of the other social media platforms came along with all these kind of art ideas, and I use art in inverted commas, very much so here, that every child created the same thing, and there'd be a wall of the same thing, and while it looks beautiful and it looks lovely, did any art actually happen? is the question. And we didn't talk about this on the podcast. I sense this a lot in the arts in general. I wouldn't have too many strong opinions on drama, but I think there's very few classes now that teach drama and using drama elements these days. It's usually preparing for a pre-prepared play or a pre-prepared performance. I've got raindrops all over my glasses now. I wonder what creative patterns are on my lenses here. But music is another one, and you notice that a lot of music is now karaoke, where children are singing songs that already exist. You don't see too many children creating their own beats and rhythms and playing around with tempo and dynamics and so on. And it's a kind of a sad thing really for me that the arts are sort of being reduced to what Grace is calling the cookie cutter effect. I would call it the paper plate effect, where we're losing that creativity, and that's something we really need to fight against, I would think. So they're my thoughts on visual arts. A few little things. It's not I think we will talk about the arts in the Young Convention at some point, maybe next. But I just thought I'd have a little bit of a break to give you a preview. Grace Brennan from Higgle Tech. Higgle, you should look her up. She's currently offering summer courses, and well worth it if you're interested in creative thinking and being a better creative thinking teacher, particularly in the arts. And anyway, a bit of a break from the Young Convention. We'll be back tomorrow, and when I say we, I mean I keep doing that, and I hope you have a lovely day. We're nearly there. Some of you are nearly there tomorrow. Some of you have another week or half a week to go. Keep going. It's tiring, and it's like I think we're looking towards, we've gone beyond the wall, and it's really slogging out to the finish line. And I know as a teacher, you'll understand that. If you're not a teacher listening to that, you're probably going, why are teachers always tired? Well, if you have a few children and you go out on a trip with them, and you bring their friends with them. Actually, think of a birthday party in your house every day for 180 odd days in a row, and that's probably why teachers are tired. Basically, like having 183 birthday parties in a year. Is that a good analogy? I don't know. Anyway, there's my creative thinking for the day. Have a good one.